Hey guys, September is over and therefore it's time for my monthly wrap-up. Now, this month I read a total of 9 books. 2 of them were Norwegian and 2 of them were audiobooks, and I also read 1 graphic novel. So let's get to it then. The first books I finished in September were the 2 last Percy Jackson books. Those are Percy Jackson's and the Battle of the Labyrinth and Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. I enjoyed them, I'll say that much. I gave the Battle of the Labyrinth 3 out of 5 stars. I'm kind of disappointed in this one because everybody has been raving about it being the best book in the series and I wasn't all that impressed. But it was better than the first 3 books because Riordan was getting into his writing and the characters were better and yeah. And also the last one, the Last Olympians, this one got a 5 out of 5 for me because it was all just, it was action all the way really, and it also gave me a lot of new ideas to how I could handle some stuff in my own books, and that's good. So it was inspiring. I also read Sisters Red by Jackson Pearce. This is a Red Riding Hood retelling, and I've read some other books by Jackson Pearce and enjoyed them, but this one just didn't do it for me. It was too much focus on the romance and being pretty, and the whole thing about the if you have scars you're ugly and if you're ugly you don't deserve a happy ending kind of style just, it made me pissed, really. So I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read Dates from Hell by Kim Harrison, Lindsay Sand, Kelly Armstrong and Laurie Handland. This is a collection of short stories by these 4 authors about paranormal romance, and I rated the book all in all 3 out of 5 stars, and then I rated each of the novels. The first one, Undead in the Garden of Good and Evil by Kim Harrison, I gave 2 out of 5 stars, cause the whole thing about I'm going to make him want me so much that he'll rape me thing, just, that too pissed me off, because that builds under the thing that rape isn't as serious as it really is. And The Claire Switch Project by Lindsay Sand also got a 2 out of 5 stars, cause what kind of best friend does what Jill did to Claire? It pissed me off. I've been on that end of the bargain before and it was just, yeah, it made me mad. These 2 first novels made me mad. Chaotic by Kelly Armstrong, that one I actually did like and I read it before, and that is the reason for me buying this. It was fun for me to see Hope and Carl again and actually see how they met, and it just made me laugh, and yeah. So that one got a 5 out of 5 stars. And Dead Man Dating by Laurie Handland also got a 5 out of 5 because it was just sexy and action-packed and adrenaline and just fun, really. I also read Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider. This one I flew through in 2 days. I would probably have read all of it if I hadn't been sick. But despite being so easily read, I just gave it 2 out of 5 stars because the characters just flew around in the story like ghosts, and it wasn't all that exciting to read, and yeah, but I'm still going to read the last 2 books in the series because they are easily enough to fly through, and I'm kind of curious about what the next one is about and if it's going to keep the same theme up in the 3rd one as well. I also read Tomb Raider Volume 1, Season of the Witch. This is a graphic novel. I bought it in Oslo, and this one, you see the art style. That is my biggest problem, really, is the art style. It was kind of like American manga-ish and not really that expressional and stuff like that, and that just didn't work out for me at all, but I did enjoy it and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and I will probably keep reading it because I loved the Tomb Raider reboot game and I can't wait for the Rise of the Tomb Raider to come out, and I think I may have a girl crush on Lara. And I also listened to 2 audiobooks this month. The first one was The Mists of Avalon by Maria V. Schneider. That one I've been listening to since June, so it took me quite some time. and I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, because if I hadn't been listening to it in audio I probably wouldn't have finished it, because it was so slow going and boring and nothing really happened. Okay, stuff did happen, I'll tell you that, but there wasn't any action, and I do enjoy me some action in books, so. But it was an okay read, and it made me want to read more Arthurian retellings, so maybe later. I also listened to A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This one I listened to in maybe 5 days, and I do enjoy her Throne of Glass series, I do, but I'm not like over the moon about it, and mainly I read it because it's an easy read and it's fantasy, and yeah, and therefore I didn't have that high hopes for A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I wasn't really disappointed when I listened to it, but I wasn't really impressed either, so I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I probably won't be buying the second book in the series unless I get in a really big YA fairy tale retelling reading corner, and I can get it for a credit on Audible, because it's not something I really want to use my money on, sorry. And I also read 2 Norwegian books. The first one I don't have here because my mom is borrowing it, and that was Med himmelen under oss by Anja H. Hageland, and it is a contemporary psychological book, and it was enjoyable and funny and kind of sad, and yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, at least, so. And I also read Forbannet av Tonje Tornes. This is the second book in the Kiri series, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, because it's fairly easy to read, but she uses a lot of words that kind of slows down the language, and I was kind of annoyed on Erik, the main character, and yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. It's enjoyable, and I really want to know what's going on, because the ending was kind of more fun than the rest of the story. It kind of saved it, really. And yeah, those are the books I read in September. Let me know if you read any of them and what you think about them, and if you agree with me or disagree on what I said about them. October has started, and therefore it is time for my October TBR. So I did start the study series by Maria V. Schneider in September, and I plan to finish it during the month of October. It's fairly easy to read, and the books aren't all that long, so it shouldn't really take me that much. And those books are Magic Study and Fire Study. So I also plan to read Song of Susanna by Stephen King. This is the 6th book in the Dark Tower series, and you can't go through October without reading at least one Stephen King book. I have some more, but I will have to see how this month goes. I also want to read Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake. I've been wanting to read this since I started watching YouTube in May last year, I think. And I bought it in January when I was in Oslo, and thought I would save it until October, and October is finally here and I can finally read it, and I can't wait, and I really hope I won't be disappointed in this one. I also want to read A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is also a fairly short one, so it shouldn't take me that long, and I've been seeing it around BookTube some time ago, and I wanted to read it, and finally I have it, so now I'll read it, and yeah. And in between all of this, I plan to read some graphic novels. The first one is Saga Volume 5. I got this one in September, and I'm going to read it, and I probably already read it by the time this video goes up. So, also I want to read Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This one also circulated BookTube in October last year, and I wanted to read it then, and I bought it in this summer, and I've been saving it for October. And lastly, I want to finish up the Locked and Key series. I read the first one, and I have the last 5 books in the series, and I hope to just read them and enjoy myself, really. It isn't the biggest TBR out there, and this isn't the biggest one I've made, but I am going to just enjoy myself this month and see what happens. And if I get the time, I'll read more. If I don't get the time, I won't read more. So yeah. And I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!